right, thanks everyone for your patience. Just had a quick technical difficulty with Nancy joining, but she is getting her link in right now, so she'll be here in just a minute. But I do want to start with an overview of some of the logistics of the leading edge course before she goes into some of the content of what's going to be covered throughout the course. So again, thank you all for your interest. Leading Edge is our flagship SBDC workshop course. So we've been offering it for years, and it's a 9-week online course that will really set your business up with a good foundation to move forward. So it's kind of geared towards those who are in the early stages or startup phases of your business, but it's also a great option if you're just kind of needing a business reboot, if you want to revisit some of those fundamentals that you started with when you first started your business, and there's Nancy, and are now ready to revisit some of those and revamp that. So like I said, it's a 9-week course. It's on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. through Zoom. And it is $3.99 is the registration fee. There are some scholarships available depending on what city you're in. We have great city partners with our local economic development corporations. Hi, Nancy. So depending on what city you're in, we may have some scholarship availability. So if that is of interest to you, please reach out to me and I can connect with your city partners to see if that is an option. That is up to their discretion. So just want to make that clear. But definitely worth checking out if that's something that you need for your business. So we talked about it being on Zoom. It's on Tuesday evenings. We talked about the registration fee. Those are just some of the logistics. And I think those are the main logistics. So if you have questions, you can either come off mute at the end and we can talk about those, or you can also pop them into the chat and I'll let Nancy know about them. But I do want to introduce you all to Nancy Barnett. She will be our instructor for the course. She's one of our lead SBDC consultants. She's been with us for years and is just such a wonderful person. So we're happy to have her as our instructor leading us through the course. And I guess I did forget to mention, for any of you who aren't familiar with the SBDC, we offer free one-on-one consulting as well as these educational workshops. So Nancy will be throughout the course, we'll be bringing in topic experts, guest speakers to be talking about the different topics that we're going through. Many of those are also SBDC consultants. So what we really like about the leading edge model is that you get this great, classroom time to be working through the materials, but then you can also complement that with the one-on-one consulting appointments to really dive into the issues that you're seeing in your business. So with that, Nancy, I will turn it over to you.
I am on. Okay. So welcome everybody. So Leading Edge is really kind of a unique class in many ways. I'm assuming that most of you either have started a business or are thinking about starting a business. And I'm also going to make an assumption that you're really good at something. You're really good at your craft. You have knowledge, you have a product, there's something. And you want to turn this dream or what's been going on in your head for a while into a reality. The truth is, starting and running a successful business is hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And they don't. Okay, so what the class focuses on is basically the how and the what and the why. Okay, so part of that is to teach you a business model. Most of the time when we think of business planning, if I say it's time to do your business plan, people's eyes just glaze over. Okay, it's like, oh my gosh, that sounds painful. Right? And the question becomes why? And one of the reasons a lot of people think, well, I just need a business plan if I'm going to go get funding or if I'm going to do this. And actually, everybody needs to remember that they're the first investor. It's not the bank, it's you. You are the ones that need to figure out, does this match me? Does it match my lifestyle? How do I make it match my lifestyle? How much is it going to cost me to do? Who is my target market? How do I find them? Why would the consumer choose me over other competition? Okay, and one question I always ask everyone, if the first time I meet them in consulting, is one of the questions you need to ask yourself is, if you haven't already, is what do I want this business to do for me financially, personally? Okay, so if I say I need to eventually, not first day, but eventually need this business to make me $125,000 a year. If that's the goal, then you need to create a business model that can actually do that. And you need to test it before you spend a lot of money, because some of our assumptions are not necessarily true. And so what we do in the class is we go through learning how to do this business modeling, so you can do it ad nauseum way after the class on any idea that you have. Okay, number one. But number two, to help you really understand, what does it mean, target market? Is everyone my market? Who is my market? How do I reach them? Right? How much is it going to cost me to do that? What is my pricing? Right? If you're just getting into startup, some of you have different startup costs. Some of you may be going into a one-person consulting business, low startup costs, lots of competition, low startup, lots of competition. Whereas if you're doing a restaurant, guess what? There's a lot of startup costs, right? And you don't make money right away. Okay, so how are you going to not only get started, but then how are you going to continue to operate until you reach that break-even point? That's going to tell you how much money you need, right? So then we bring in, so there's a book, assignments, reading, right? And then there's exercises, there's things you need to find answers for. And everybody's journey is different. Your answers are your answers, your journey is your journey. We just help you facilitate that to discover what is best for you and what is the best model, what's the best, if you're looking for a location, what would be the best location, because every location is not a good location. Okay, so we bring in people who can help you better understand that as well. So we bring in the accounting people. Oftentimes when I say it's time to do financial projections, guess what happens to people's eyes? They glaze over again. Okay, because we get afraid of the numbers. And I think sometimes we get afraid of the numbers because we're afraid that they might tell us things we don't want to know. And so once we start getting numbers, then we can start saying, does this make sense? Does it need readjustment? Do we need to look at a different market? Do we need to do whatever? Okay, we bring in the marketing people. If you think you may even need some funding, we bring in the people who do the funding. We bring in the bankers. So you have, and it's a panel. So you have an opportunity to what? Ask them any question you want to ask them. Okay, and in a safe environment. Okay, so the other thing we do is it's one thing to have reading material and we give you all kinds of resources and all that kind of stuff. But in class, we also want to use the class and all of the expertise within the class to help each other. Oftentimes as a startup or a business owner, it's lonely. You know, maybe we don't have a lot of people in our family that have ever tried anything like this, right? And so in the class, you get to be with like-minded individuals. You all have different goals, okay? But you have some goals that are absolutely the same. You have a dream, you have a vision, there's something you want to do, and you all want to find a way to make it happen. That's commonality. So we do things in the class like just group problem solving. Sometimes we call it the warm seat, so it doesn't sound quite as bad as the hot seat, right? And we say, okay, if you want to submit your problem, guys, what is it? What's your challenge? And you state your challenge, and we spend 15 minutes as a group trying to solve it. If any of you have experienced good brainstorming, you know how powerful that can be to find answers that you may not have considered, because we're all in our boxes. We all belong, we all have our boxes. And when somebody doesn't have your box, they're free. And they come up with some amazing solutions sometimes. So part of this is support, is information, and you have access, as Hannah was saying, to business consultants who cost you how much? Zero. Okay, so as you're going through this and you're saying, I think this is my target market, I think you can meet with me, you can meet with other people like me, you can meet with people who specialize in marketing, you can meet with people that can help you understand your social media, you can meet with people who are in accounting that can help you understand not only the value of the numbers, but what the heck do they mean? Okay, so the goal here is to most of us, I will include myself in that, I was an employee, okay? 14 years ago, I was an employee. I was actually the director of training for AAA for many years. So I was on the executive team. I thought I knew stuff. I did. And a friend said, wouldn't it be great if? And I said, what the heck? How hard can that be? I was naive. I was a naive, and I discovered that I didn't know what questions I was supposed to ask. And more importantly, I couldn't vet check the answers I was getting. So one of the things the SBDC wants to be and functions as is a trusted resource. They don't look at you guys attending a class and never seeing you again. They look at having an ongoing relationship, not only with the beginning of your business, but the middle of your business and the growing part of your business. And if you choose to sell your business, it's not time. They want to support you all the way through that and be a trusted resource. So Hannah is amazing. Hannah answers everything like amazingly fast and gets you the answers. If you have questions during the week, you can email us. And I will give you, either Hannah and I will give you an answer, or we may say, great discussion item. We'll talk about that in class on Tuesday. Okay. But the idea here, the underlying message is, you don't have to do this by yourself. And I found out that we didn't have to do this by ourselves either. And that is a tremendous, that takes a little bit of weight off the shoulders. So what are your questions? What are your thoughts about this? Tell me if you want to tell me what you're doing, introduce yourself. I'm all for that too. So talk to me, people. You can come off mute and just talk.
There we go. Hi, Nancy. My name's Dan. I've actually already been talking to a couple of the consultants here from North Metro. So I actually have kind of like a pretty long business plan. You know, it's about 60 pages. So yeah. Well, there's a lot of data in there, right?
There is, and there should be data. You're supposed to do that. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm already kind of at that point where I'm ready to form the business, get the accountant going, fund it, and actually start looking for the location.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm concerned about this leading edge course over the next 9 weeks, is this something that would still benefit me, even though I've already gone through a lot of that research, a lot of the, throwing it out to mentors and going, okay, poke holes in this. What do you see?
Yeah.
So that's my concern, is I just want to make sure it's even if it's just a validation of everything that I'm doing all right. I just want
I think there, and I think that I've been teaching leading edge for a long time. So what I've discovered is even people who are like you, who've done your due diligence, okay, you've done a lot of your work and whatever. I think there's something to be said for validation. I think there's something to be said, and we can read your business. We will read your business plan, Dan. Okay, yeah, all 60 pieces, we can do that. Okay, and sometimes there's things in there you need, and sometimes there's things you don't.
Mhm.
And then also the ability, depending on who you are asking funding for, is going to depend on how you write that business plan.
Right. Well, I can tell you right now, it's written for it's bootstrapped, so it's only
It's written for what?
it's written just for kind of a roadmap of the business rather than for investors, because it's going to be bootstrapped by the owners.
Okay, so but the owners are the investors,
Mhm.
right?
So yeah,
And
yeah.
so part of this is also for you guys to, is there more than one of you, Dan?
Yeah, my wife and I are going into
Okay,
it. Mhm.
so what I always tell people, everybody has a different kind of risk factor. You know, they're like, some people will jump in 6 inches of water and think it's perfectly safe, right? And then other people see 12 feet of water and want another foot, right? And so part of this is for both of you as husband and wife, because we want to keep that relationship, right? So is this the best course for us? How will it affect us? What are maybe some possibilities on financing you hadn't necessarily thought about? And to make sure your numbers are right, right? So your projections are right. So it's up to you. There'll be things that you know, okay? But I think understanding this business modeling piece will maybe make you look at that business plan a little bit different, I'm going to guess. But that's, that's my best advice on that.
Yeah. Well, it's not my first business plan I've written. It's just the first time I've actually gotten to the point to actually launch something. So
yeah, it is, and it's a process. It's I mean, I'm going to guess that you learned a lot just doing the 60 pages. My goodness,
oh yeah,
right?
Well, we've ran nonprofits before and sat on boards. We've also and then I've been a leader in the IT for the last 20 years. So now I'm going to jump out into my own. So
yep.
we got a lot of skills to pull from. So
I hear that a lot. I'm hearing that a lot. Hannah, there were some questions in the chat. So what were some of those?
Yeah, there's another question about if we do focus on nonprofits at all during the course.
So one of the things that we teach is we teach something called the business canvas. Okay. Any of you have ever heard of the business model generation or whatever, but it's basically a canvas that we start with. It has all the 9 key components of a business, any business. And you start with sticky notes. Okay. Those of you who have already started a business, you get to put the sticky notes you've already started, the way you've already started. And then you start saying, where's the gaps? Where do I do this? It was started by a young man in Sweden about 2011. He wrote a book called The Business Model Generation, and it set the world on fire. And now the Fortune 500 companies use it in their strategic planning and so forth, because it makes you think whole. It makes you see that if I do this here, how does it affect here? And how does it affect here? Because every decision is connected, right? So what happened is he sent it out to the Creative Commons. So one of the Creative Commons means people could say, let me kind of invent mine and, go for it and whatever. There are now nonprofit business canvases as well. And we can certainly share those with you. And you can work through it's the same process. It just, you have different funders. It looks a little different because of how you are funded. Okay, from that standpoint, but the process is the same. Does that answer the question?
Yes, yeah, I think so. Thank you for that, Nancy. And if that didn't answer the question, or if there are other questions, feel free to put those in the chat. One question that we get a lot that I'd like for us to address is, what if I have to miss a session? Is that okay? Should I still sign up?
Oh yeah, it's terrible. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just bad news. Can't do it. They're all recorded. So if you can't come, guess what you can do? You can play it. You can still participate. Okay. Those of you who are even attend the class and you say, gee, I think I missed something, or I'd like to hear more. I'd like to hear what Mike said one more time. You have the ability to replay that.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you probably get the most out of your time, if you're able to actually come and participate, totally fine if you need to miss a session. We do have an online classroom. We use Google Classroom where we put all of the material, so you can access those throughout the course very easily, and can always check out those recordings. So.
And then the other thing too is what we've had people, like they've been on the road or whatever, they just access it from wherever they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty easy
Zoom
to.
doesn't make it a little easier from that standpoint, I must say.
Yes, absolutely. And another question that we get a lot is, are there any prerequisites that I need to take the course? Like, what if I just have an idea and I haven't really done much with my business? Is this the course for me?
Here's the good news. You haven't made a mistake yet. Okay. So you have the opportunity to, those of you who are in that stage actually do really well because you don't have any preconceived notions. And so you walk into this really discovery space and say, I just want to discover what it looks like and adjust accordingly. And so, yeah, I love working with people who haven't figured out what they want to be when they grow up.
Yeah, very exciting time.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that too, what would you say to a business who's been in business for years and just really needs to make it work better?
Approach works. That approach works is you put down how you're operating now, right? So you can really start assessing and say, where are my missed gaps, as I was saying earlier, where, what am I missing, right? And so it helps you figure out from a growth standpoint where you may need to either change your target market, where you may maybe find other markets because one is thinning out for you or whatever it happens to be, or it gives you the opportunity through some of the resources we give you and so forth to figure out your supply chains and is there a better way to do what you're currently doing. So you can say you make money in your business by either saving money or making money. Okay, they both go to the bottom line, right? So if you can get more efficient in your business, you're better off, right? You make money, right? If you can get better at finding the revenue sources, you make money, right? And so it's really about teaching. Some of this is really about teaching you guys to always think. One of the things I've learned in all these years of coaching people and teaching this model and things like this is it gets easier for me to pick out where the missing links are, right? Well, you want to do that as a business owner because I'm going to give you something you never knew. Stuff changes, right? Things change all the time. How we get information, technology, our competition, new products, how people buy things, all of those change. And if we can't be adaptable as business owners, guess how long our business lasts? It struggles because things happen. Some things we can count, we know are coming, other ones, they just knock us, for a loop. So learning how to always analyze your business, no longer how long you've been in business. Always check your business, always learn, and we're not going to be able to teach you how to read all of your numbers, but we have people who can, okay? But really understand how powerful your financial information is if it's put together properly. If it's put together properly, it's managerial accounting. You can see if you're actually making the money you think you are. Okay, because it's set up to tell you information. It's set up to tell you what is happening in your business. We basically call that so you can make decisions based on fact, not hope. Okay. And that's knowing your books. That's knowing what is happening in your marketing. That's understanding what you are offering and how you need to communicate that. This class will not solve all of those. It will introduce you to all of those. It'll make you think about all of those. But guess what you have? You have other classes you can attend, okay, that go with our marketing guys that go straight to the marketing piece, right? But now you understand the format. You understand how it works. Any other questions?
Miriam, do you have a question?
Sorry, I was on my microphone. Well, I think you already answered the question with the question before, because on the construction field. So it's hard for me as a woman on the construction world. It is, but we're still there. And I have my business like for more than like around 5-6 years.
Okay.
But it's everywhere. Like I have like all over, and I like my office is a mess. I have a mess on the accounting and marketing and all that stuff. I'm just like on the point, like I just want to do the job, get the money, and that's it. And I know that it's not the correct form, so that's why that I'm here with you guys, and thank you for everything. But yeah, I think that course, it's going to help me a lot.
Well, and part of this too, for some of you, is how do I move from the doer, right, to the manager, to the like, kind of thing, because a lot of us start as the doer. And that's a big transition. That just doesn't happen overnight, right? Systems have to be put in place. People have to be put in place. And then you have to make sure that your revenue is strong enough to support that, right? And so that's for some people who have always been doers, that's a huge transition. That is not small. And you really have to strategically plan for that. So part of this is just learning the strategic piece of this. So
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay, Miriam.
And the thing here, it's like I'm going like that. I want to do it. We are in like a specific. We can do all the construction area, but like my main point, it's environmental services, and we do land reclamation, erosion control. So that's my target point.
That's your niche.
Yeah. So the thing here is that I'm working because I want to get the certifications, like all the certifications that you have, like for the women's, minority, and all that stuff.
How are you in that process, or how far are you in that process?
I'm like maybe like 50%.
Okay, so just so you know, in the SBDC, we have people who are certified to also help you with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So because it's all about being able to, on the certification piece, you got to be able to prove that you can handle the contracts, right? And that you can cover the costs and wait to get paid. Right? Because you've heard government slow pay. I don't know. Right? So that the financial piece of that, they want to see a really strong financials. They want to see a really strong business model to prove to them that you can go on that list and be successful.
Yeah, it's not an easy way.
It is not. Miriam, I keep going back to it. It was easy. Everybody would do it, right? And so that's one of the things.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think I'll be on the course. So, all right. Well, yeah, that's fine. After this, because I'm in Brighton, so I read like you have a discount for the construction area, and I think for Brighton they have a discount for the course.
Yeah, I will check with them on that, Miriam, and we'll get back to you. Yeah, let me write that down.
Okay.
And
thank you.
I didn't see Teresa's question. What was Teresa's question?
Before Teresa's question, there was just a quick one. Could you repeat the name of the book, the business model?
Yes. It's called The Business Model Generation. It's a really easy read. Okay. It's got a lot of pictures in it, and for this class, you probably just need the first half even, right? But read it. It'll just put you ahead. If you come to the class, it'll just put you ahead. But awesome. It turned business on its head. It really did.
And then Teresa's question was about how her business is a service, not a product. Would the class be equally applicable to her?
So I own 2 businesses. They're both service businesses. Okay. And yes, it's the same thing, because you are the product in that case. Okay. So when you think service, you think, no, you're the product. right? And so how are you looking to build this business? And one of those questions, there's no wrong answer to this. One of those questions is, are you building, and both of them need strategy. Are you building a business with an employee of one, which is you? Okay. Or are you starting there and want to build some kind of agency where eventually you're not the doer? You get to choose what you want to design and then figure out how to make it happen.
Great. Thank you for that, Nancy. Those are all of our questions right now. And I know we wanted to keep this short and sweet for you all on your lunch hour or however you're fitting this into your day. So we really appreciate you joining us and would love to have you all join us for the course. For any other questions you have, I put my email in the chat. You can ask me any of those. And anything else you want to say, Nancy?
No, just if you come, we'll love to have you come, and I'll support you in any way we can. The staff is amazing. And again, this is a great resource. SBDC is a wonderful resource. They helped us, so that's why I do what I do. Love to have you in class and hope to see you there.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, everyone. And we'll hopefully see you in September.